Okay, you want to start?
Yeah. So this is episode 3.2.0 of the Corona Cast, right? That's what we're calling this. Yeah, the disorder of the Corona.
Sure.
We're gonna give you all the hot, spicy news articles, hot, spicy nuggets of Corona news and world news. So we're gonna try to keep a little segment, a little bit more organized this week.
And a little less disorderly.
We gotta bring order to the disorder.
Disorder, yeah.
Anarchists need rules.
Well, there's order and chaos.
Yeah, exactly.
So
bring some entropy to the empathy. Yeah.
Sure.
Why not?
So, do you wanna?
Yeah. Well, we're gonna start with my segment, technocrat or dictator, or whatever the success of one or the other. So, Kim Jong Un's been in the news a little bit. So he almost died.
What, is he alive?
Yeah, he seems to be alive.
Oh shit! No way.
He actually the photo of last week that came out of him cutting the ribbon at a fertilizer plant. There's a video now to back that up. Like it's him walking around.
How long is the video?
It's him in multiple scenes.
I question it.
Well,
still.
It could be that, but here's the better theory: is that Kim Jong Un is using stunt doubles.
I mean, who knows?
Look at this. Are these the same man?
I mean,
so yeah, they've been trying to find like really minor markings because they think this is just his stunt double. I mean, I think he's just fatter and uglier than he used to look.
I agree.
Right, but I don't think he had heart problems. I think he had coronavirus. Because
oh shit, that's such a good theory.
Because now they've been like hasn't made any public appearances because like okay, so a few weeks ago, to give people the backstory if you don't know this, Kim Jong Un just basically stopped making public appearances. So they have an annual festival that is the founder of the nation, his grandfather, the first emperor of North Korea. It's his birthday, and it's Jesus' birthday for the Koreans. It's the biggest holiday
for the North Koreans. Let's not generalize all Koreans.
Well, maybe 1 year for all the Koreans. They could create a united Korea. But he wasn't there. He was missing. It's a pretty big deal. He in the past has gone missing for a couple of weeks, and I mean he is smart about how he portrays himself publicly. Like when I was in Japan, do you remember when there was this moment of like North Korea was going to have this grand unveiling, and this was before they started launching missiles over Japan, so there wasn't quite as much freak out, but they had nuclear power, and people were like really concerned that this is going to be the do you remember that? Like
Yep.
Yeah. Do you remember what he actually unveiled? It was just a street of new condominiums in Korea.
Oh, I don't remember this. That's hilarious.
It was like this massive like advertising campaign to the world.
So there's like everyone like got so amped up, and it was like, here are some condos.
Exactly. Like they were like, oh god, he has new nuclear capabilities. He has an ICBM.
It's just like buildings.
Yeah. It was just look at my new condos in Pyongyang. Aren't they sick? Like just it was.
I'm so cool, guys.
Exactly, but it's so smart because he wanted.
That's so high tech and cool.
I know it is like the Euro trash child of being like, I need to have look at my new condos, but at the same time, like, what a smarter way to ever get. It would be like Donald Trump.
Oh my god, it's like, oh you thought you knew what it was? Well, you don't know shit.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's funny.
Yeah, it's almost like if Donald.
Okay, so. Sorry, go ahead.
It's almost like if Donald Trump was like claimed that there's a nuke bombed on some city, be like, no, it's a new Mar-a-Lago, it's another Trump hotel. Like it's the same type of insanity.
Yeah, totally.
So,
but anyways, yeah.
Yeah, so global perception, my point is very smart. The whole thing of his private train being sent to a specific location, I mean, obviously that's a really easy
I still think something clearly happened, and they were scrambling to make it look like it was nothing.
I think he had COVID because during the past week when he sent an audio message to someone, I don't think it was Xi Jinping, it might have been, or at least someone very high up in the Chinese government.
Yeah.
But there was a video that came out around this time that every person in North Korea that was on the front lines, the people that would normally be like crying and sobbing or doing whatever to be their part in the weird Big Brother fakery of North Korea, they were all wearing masks, like every single one of them. And like up until this point, I have never seen.
Oh, so you mean only during that period were they wearing masks?
Yeah.
Like before that, they weren't.
Yeah, exactly.
While COVID was still happening.
Yeah, and
okay,
there were
gotcha.
public things happening, and at least again,
I see what you mean. So sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but it's like there was no like, why would there be a reason to wear masks, or like there was only a sudden concern about COVID in North Korea around this time. So it's like, for why?
Yeah, it's pretty bizarre that, and like obviously everything is very constructed. Those first line people are all told exactly what to do, so they were all clearly given masks and told to wear them. So
yeah, but it's like, why? Like it's clearly not for their own health. No one gives a shit about them. It's clearly like, that's a good theory.
And some of the videos in the past couple of weeks, they definitely didn't have masks on, and in the exact same type of like they videotape.
Yeah, I get
you can watch the footage of his grandfather's birthday party, but yeah, so that's my theory, that he had COVID and he's recovered and he's more or less fine now. I mean,
that makes sense. The timeline also lines up. It's about a month since his last appearance. I think it was like April 11th.
Yep.
So that really lines up.
Yeah,
that
so
makes sense.
That's my theory on what happened. Because, I mean, people said heart surgery. They said he was a vegetable. But, like, you don't know. Like, all of this was just hearsay through some spies. And
even, like, South Korea only knows so much. Like, no one really knows what's happening. And like we were talking about, they are smart. They know how to manipulate perception. And, like, that video that we watched a couple weeks ago was just some guy analyzing this. Like, they know the world watches them. They know that everyone's like watching their every move. So yeah, that's a good theory. That's a good
we'll
that's
never
interesting.
know, but
I mean obviously, but
absolutely never know. But yeah, he appears to be okay, at least for the time being. So
true. Okay.
It continues for another day. So that was my
interesting
dictator or technocrat. But yeah, coronavirus has just been crazy. So even in my home province, the conspiracy theory nut jobs of the five that think it's a 5G related issue. It's made it all the way here.
Your home province?
Yeah, my home province. I live here. That's close enough.
Oh, and I don't? It's just, we're doing this remotely?
Yeah, precisely. You are in Turkmenistan.
Oh, great. Yeah. Thanks.
Well, you were scared about coronavirus, so you went to the one country that doesn't have it. Turkmenistan. Still not a single case of COVID.
Oh, wow. Okay.
It's fact. It's a scientific fact. So their connection isn't confirmed yet, but basically there was a couple, like 25 and 28. I don't have the article, but in Quebec that burned down a few cell phone towers in northern Quebec, and the police are now investigating whether or not it was connected to conspiracy theory groups on Facebook, just like that group.
Probably, honestly, probably.
Of course, but it's never ending. Like we've had the snowbirds. For any American listeners, that's our division of like the fighter jet pilots that do all the fancy things in the skies. Like I heard them yesterday, just going over the city.
What are you talking about?
Okay, do you know what the snowbirds are?
I thought snowbirds were people that vacationed in the U.S. During the winter.
But they're also like our aerobatics. Like it's they use the old timey planes, but they're just to do like there's like on the Americans on the 4th of July, and they have like jet fighters go over top, and they do all these fancy things in the air. So they've been rotating around the province, at least Ontario and Quebec, to show solidarity. Just another completely empty gesture just to make people feel better about patting themselves on the back. It's supposed to be able to create morale around COVID. And then
I feel like it would just be noisy. I would just be annoyed. I'd be like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, it was pretty noisy. I mean, like, you remember, like, when we lived in Toronto, the X?
I know, the air show every year.
Not quite as bad as that, but it's the same type of thing.
But that's what I mean. Like, I was up in, like, freaking St. Clair West, and I could hear the damn air show. Nowhere near the lake shore.
Oh, God,
That's Midtown.
Oh, I know. Well, I lived at Queen Street when that stuff happened.
Yeah, but you were closer. Queen Street's closer.
No, that's what I mean. It was like, the house was shaking every time they'd go over. It was awful. Thank God they did it in the afternoons. But so they've been doing this, and then I had this like local wingnut in my area. So she's been, I assume the way it's just written, it's definitely a girl. It's just some really stupid Becky Karen figure who has this letter that she's handwritten, because that's how you know she really means that she's sincere. And she's been posting them all over my neighborhood, and it just basically says that please join us at 7 p.m. with your pots and pans to show support for the essential workers.
No way. It's like banging pots and pans?
Yeah. And
that's worse than clapping.
But it's the same shit that's been going across. Of course. But, like, it's not new, but she's just trying to make it happen. And I'm like, I just want to find this person and yell at her. It's like,
what we should do. No. What I want to do is do what that guy on TikTok did, of the British TikToker that I showed you. I'll be sure to send you that video so you can include it in your YouTube thing. But it's this guy. It's so funny. And he's just like, because same thing, like there's like whatever, people are honking their cars and like clapping in solidarity for first responders. And he just like opens his window and he's like, clap if you think I'm fat or something like that. And everyone's just like, thank you. Thank you. Yes. I knew that. Yes.
Yeah, and no, it's just ridiculous. Yeah, she's written it in French and English, and everyone's handwritten and they're taped. Oh, it's funny because a lot of them have been half torn down too.
Of course,
there's
people are
like
shut.
One right outside my.
I mean, okay, so 2 of my best friends. Shout out to Daniel and Alan. I love you guys. They are nurses. They just graduated nursing school and are literally now. This is how they're starting their career. Pretty sure they're gonna be like, pay me more. I mean, don't want to speak on behalf of them, but like. This shit that they've seen just thus far, it's like, fucking, I don't need you to bang pots and pans for me. Like, what is this gonna do for me? Yeah. And the trauma that I've gone through and the burnout. Do
you think a nurse who's been working 14-hour shift, like, you just got out of the hospital, here's some loud noise. Oh, you haven't slept very well in the last 3 weeks and you have to work another 16 hours?
Yeah, especially like night shifts. Like, imagine working a night shift. Middle of the day, you're just like trying to sleep and it's like bong, bong, bong. You know what it reminds? Okay, you've definitely never seen this. Yeah, there you go.
I didn't get no sleep because of y'all. Y'all not gonna get no sleep because of me.
That's all I thought of when he said they were banging pots and pans.
Jesus Christ.
That's what I would do. I want to find this lady and bring the pots and pans while she's sleeping and be like, I didn't get no sleep because of y'all.
I think I could, well, I mean, that's funnier, but I think I can almost outdo it with a Bart Simpson.
Oh, so it's a competition now.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Because I am so great.
Oh, yeah. I know this, yeah.
Just say this. Just start screaming this at everybody. It's the greatest criticism of their bullshit.
That's what they're trying to do.
Exactly.
So, like, it's okay, you win.
Yeah, it's absolutely perfect.
Okay, you win.
Once again, The Simpsons has predicted
you
the
win.
future.
Okay. Do you have anything else, or do you want to do our Arabic?
That's my weekly Corona. Yeah.
Okay. You want to do your Arabic word of the day?
What would be? It's a kind of a phrase, but like self-aggrandizing. What would?
Oh, the fuck, bitch! I'm not that fluent. I don't read literature in Arabic. I don't know what self-aggrandizing is.
I don't know that type of. There has to be like an approximation, like.
No, I don't know.
Big-headed. What would that?
Big-headed?
Yeah, thick, or just an inflated.
Like an inflated ego, like egotistical.
that general type of thing.
Can I call a friend?
Yes.
And by a friend, I mean my mother.
Yeah. Or get Geneva on. She's about to go.
Geneva does not speak Arabic. She speaks like Assyrian, like Chaldean, like Aramaic version.
Okay,
like
let's find out the version of that.
No, I don't. Okay, so hold on. Let me think. Like big E. Well, first, while I think on that. I need to make a correction. This is my Arabic word of the day is really not going very well for me. I was telling my mom that I taught you freedom, and my parents were like, that's not what freedom is in Arabic. They were like, that's liberty. So I was close. And I said, in my defense, Tahrir Square in Baghdad is called Tahrir Square. And if you translate it on Wikipedia, I should have known better than to trust Wikipedia. It says Freedom Square. And he's like, you're right. That's how they say it is Freedom Square. So I was like, I'm not wrong. But it's supposed to be liberty. And freedom is... Oh my god, I forgot it now. Son of a bitch.
Can I just do a hacking cough? And
no, hold on. Okay. Well, I forgot what it was. So, it's just not Tahrir. So, no. But it's close. Tahrir is liberty. No. Oh my god. Stop being racist.
What? I'm just trying to guess. I'm trying to help you along in your voyage of becoming... big
ego. I don't know. Okay, it's a phrase. It's a phrase. It's not really a word.
Yeah,
but it's like
an idea.
Shayif nefse, which is like
Shayif nefse.
You're like shayif.
Shayif.
Yes, you got it. Oh my god, it's so good. I'm so proud of you. Nefse.
Shayif essay.
No, so that's one word,
Shayif.
and then nefse.
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 Neff.
Okay, chef.
Neff.
Okay.
You're being a dick on purpose.
Shia LaBeouf, say?
No, Shaif.
Shia?
No, you got it the first time.
Shia.
No, Shaif. There's an...
Shaif, oh.
Yes, you got it. It's perfect.
Shia.
No.
Shifa?
No, you got it the first time.
Okay, say it again.
Shaif.
Shiaf.
Yes.
Shiaf Nessa?
It's like Shia's name, like Shia LaBeouf, and then you add an F at the end.
I just want to keep saying Shia LaBeouf. That's all I want. That's all I'm getting at. Okay. I'll do it seriously this
Thank
time.
you.
Shia?
No, Shaif.
Shiaf.
Yes, you got it. Honestly, like, perfect.
Yeah.
Nefse.
Nefsa.
Yeah, oh my god, I'm so proud of you.
I could have said it right the first time. I just wanted to say Shia LaBeouf a few times.
Okay.
Yeah. By the way, shout out Captain Peanut Butter Falcon.
Oh
He
god.
found his equal. I knew it when I was then in Japan.
Wait, there's a sequel?
No, he found his equal.
Oh, I thought you said there's a sequel. I was like, fuck me.
Man, would I watch the shit out of that?
You didn't even watch the first one in its entirety.
No, I watched it a few times.
You watched it?
No. God. When I was able to predict the next scene, I've definitely seen the whole movie. It's gonna have some kind of like vaguely sad ending where he has more freedom than he had before, but you know he still has the type of condition. He might fall in love with someone random, but that's not gonna work out, and then it ends with some type of like, I don't know, general coming of age story. So you tell me about this cult you have.
Oh, before we get into that, I have some
Plugs?
no plugs.
Got any dates?
What I was gonna say. No, if you go into Messenger, I sent you 2 hilarious articles that I found. The headlines are just funny, so we're gonna look at those, and then I'll get into the cult that I found.
It's Brian Ross Investigates?
No, don't click on that. That's part of the LLDM stuff. That's for later.
Reborn Vinyl?
You can click on that first, and then you can click on the second link, because I sent you 2.
Oh my god.
So I was talking to my friend this week. Shout out to Jordana. And she was like, we were looking at like face masks or whatever on Etsy. And she's like, you know what the 3rd most popular thing in Canada is on Etsy? Like most trending? I was like, what?
Whoa.
She's like, reborn baby kits. Like that's what they're called. And then I found this.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of them that are like not creepy. As you can see, these are all fake babies that people buy, and they're so expensive, which is weird enough. But then I found this like Dobie ass looking thing.
I think this is much creepier than.
Oh yeah.
What is?
Yeah, it's so creepy. You should go and look at the reviews. It's so fucking creepy.
I bet so many of these people are like hardcore pedophiles, and they're buying it to fuck.
Well, that's disturbing. The only other thing that I was thinking is if someone had their baby pass and they're like super fucked because of it and they want like a replica. That's where my brain went initially.
Oh my god, that is a horrifying response.
Oh, I'm sure, but it's like, I mean,
Max died. I must create a baby version.
I mean, but you've heard there's so many like cases of women who like go into hospitals and steal people's babies because, fun fact, that's what my mom did not sleep for 5 days after I was born because she was still in the hospital. They took and she was so, because she had like a C-section or whatever.
Yeah. And
like back then they didn't like kick you out 24 hours after you had a C-section. And she was so scared because some woman had like crossed from the US to Canada and she was like stealing babies in hospitals in Ontario because she like had, I don't know, lost her baby, like either miscarriage or like,
Yeah, and she's like, I must replace the birth one.
Yeah, anyway,
The
that's like a
circle must
thing.
be complete.
So that's one thing.
I think this is a lot less creepy than the other ones, to be honest. Like, look at
Well, I think the fact that this person has almost 4,000 sales of that creepy baby is also disturbing.
Yeah. Oh, I'm just glad that at least this one's only 74. Holy shit.
Oh, but there are ones that have a lot more.
I wonder how, like, the hands are what really freak me out about that, because baby hands don't really look like that. The feet, too. Like, what is with that?
I don't
Faces
know.
are
Anyways,
incredibly
it's
realistic,
weird.
though.
It's really weird.
Mama. What the hell?
The ghost of a... Yeah, exactly. The ghost of a masturbating ape haunts the hallways of a grand country estate in Dorset.
Preach!
It's very bizarre. Titillated tourists can often hear the saucy spectre laughing while masturbating in Adelhampton Hall in Dorset. I just imagine that Mark Hodge, the author of this article, was like, I did not. This was not the pinnacle of my career. This is not what I signed up for.
Well, I mean, he's a writer for
I was just going to say, but he is writing for The Sun, so
I think he knows the game he's in.
But yeah, it's really funny, and the descriptions of the ghost hauntings are even more hilarious.
Okay.
Yeah, if you scroll down some more, it's like, we didn't see him, which is a shame because it would have been a real sight. Apparently, he's not terrifying. Quite friendly is what we heard. Yeah.
How do they know it's an ape?
I don't know.
And what type of monkey?
But the monkey is not alone.
Like, apes and monkeys aren't really a thing. Like, there's a specific species that we, like, is it a gorilla? Is it a chimpanzee? Is it an orangutan?
I don't know.
What in the world?
Andrea Cook, who has lived at the house with her family for more than 20 years, said she has witnessed all sorts of odd and inexplicable things.
Explicable?
Inexplicable, sorry. Fuck.
Yeah, you know, that ghost setting's very explicable. Quite explicable.
Can you scroll somewhere?
Yeah.
It's like the most recent was a dark hooded figure which rushed past one of our cleaners. That's not an ape.
Oh, yeah. But they have 6 other ghosts, all human.
Oh, sorry.
So there's
then how do they know about the ape one?
Okay, but there's something about so now the ghost haunts the hall, often scratching at the paneling of the secret room and staircase at the internal frantic attempt to escape. The monkey is not alone. Oh wait, there was a monkey in the room. Oh, so we should have read through this a little bit more.
What?
So, no, again, maybe not. According to
it says the horny ghost of Martine's monkey. It literally says that.
The horny ghost of Martine. I just love it. Do you know what it reminds me of? It's like that.
We heard that Martine the monkey, who haunts the house, loves to scratch his privates while swinging around. Yeah.
What?
Oh, gotta love the Brits.
According to local legend, the unconventional Martine family did have a pet ape, which was free to wander the halls. And when one of Martine's daughters had an unhappy love affair and decided to kill herself, the compassionate monkey began following her around. She's getting some monkey dick, eh?
Yeah, he's just horny for the daughter.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, that is totally, like, monkeys will do that. Because there was that chimp that lived in New York in the 70s. Where there is some crazy whacked out white hippie family that had a lot of money. They were living in a brownstone, and there's a great doll about this. It's Nim the chimp, I believe was
I've listened to it.
Yeah, and he's just like I mean, chimps get to maturity much faster than normal children. So she had like 6 regular children and a chimp.
Oh, I remember this.
Yeah, well, I'm just gonna fill in our audience. So yeah,
oh, sorry,
the chimp. So yeah, they bought this. So they live on one of these giant brownstones in Manhattan, and they get this chimp, and it's a baby chimp when they get it, and then it reaches maturity quite quickly, and she never stops breastfeeding, and it's just jerking off and doing all sorts of things. So yeah, live the chimp.
Yeah, listen to that dollop. Listen to all dollops, because they're great. Yeah, wow. Okay, do you want to hear about some crazy cult now?
Yeah, let's go to so it's called the LLDM, right?
So it's, hold on. I think La Luz del Mundo, La Luz del Mundo, which translates to the light of the world.
Okay.
That's what it stands for. So, okay, so I have like a written out thing. I have like a lot of, like, this is very ordered. It's very ordered, not very disordered. So, Eusebio Joaquin Gonzalez, I wonder where he's from, founded La Luz del Mundo in 1926. So it's been around for a while. I want to put in a few caveats. One is I'm going to put a trigger warning because I am going to go to some depth about like some of the sexual abuse that goes on, and it's pretty awful. So
it's a cult, you know.
Yeah, I mean, but I am going to go into it in detail. So
yeah. No, for sure.
I'm just prefacing it with that. Yeah. And also, there's really surprisingly not that much about them. Like, I had to do some super deep digging. I also want to like explain how I came up with this or where I found this. So I think you remember, you and I were walking around Montreal.
It was a bumper sticker, right?
And there was a bumper sticker on a car. And I was like, I had confused it with Latter-day Saints. That's what it was. I was like, oh, this like sounds like vaguely religious. And so I stopped and like Googled it. And then like it came up that it was like quite spicy in the news quite recently, like end of 2019, beginning of 2020. So I was like, and this was back when we were planning on doing a podcast. So I was like, I'm going to save this and do some research on it. But all that being said, it's very hard to find stuff on it. There is a book written. It's entirely in Spanish. I think it's written by a defector. So it's really hard. There is a Reddit thread. I'm not going to say what it is on the podcast just in case. I just want to like protect these people that like are posting on it. But there is a Reddit thread that I found, and so there's just some stuff, but it's not like, it's hard. It was really hard to like do this. But anyways, so this is what I have thus far. So Eusebio Joaquin Gonzalez founded it in 1926. He was born into, also a lot of this was taken from an article on a website called Religion Dispatches. Where they just write about religion from a third party perspective. Like it's not like a religious website per se. It's more like cultural writing.
So that's our official source for this episode.
Mostly, as well as the Reddit thread, but a lot of, I actually like copy and pasted a lot of it because the author, which we'll link it, I forget his name, but we will link it. I think it's like Michael or something, but I might be wrong. He did a really good job of laying out the history of it, so that's where I got a lot of it from. Plus the Reddit thread and stuff. So, so he was born, so Eusebio, the founder, was born into a poor family in rural Jalisco state. Eusebio had left a distinguished military career at the age of 30 in order to follow a pair of ascetic Pentecostal preachers. He was accompanied by his wife, Elisa. A few months later, according to Eusebio, a voice came in the night, wow, we've never heard this before, commanding him to rename himself Aaron. Aaron, but I'm gonna, okay.
He renamed himself Aaron.
Yeah.
That is so much worse than at least
Well, at least it wasn't Adam.
Well, yeah, but most the new religions, right? Like, the name of the angel that came to see Joseph Smith was? It's Moroni.
Oh God!
It's got a nice little fancy, vaguely sci-fi name.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, I am Mexican Aaron. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the voice came to him and said to start a church of his own. Mm-hmm. This is while he's with like ascetic preacher. So he's already like super religious, and this happened. Yeah. Supposedly. That church would be La Luz del Mundo, which is the light of the world, also otherwise known as LLDM. In a nod to the story of Abraham, the divine voice told Aaron that he would soon be asked to go to a land that I will show you. Specifically, he was to set out the following Thursday, and this new place was revealed to be Guadalajara.
So he's going to get out of the deserts of Mexico that he's been in for 40 years and go to the land of milk and honey, eh? That's what we're dealing with?
Yeah. So, Guadalajara is in Mexico, but yes.
Okay. Well, maybe there's some milk and honey there. He's just going to go to more.
So, this Guadalajara is Mexico's second largest city. It's also the most Catholic.
Okay.
So, I'm sure as you know, as someone raised as Catholic, Pentecostals and Catholics don't get along.
Yeah. We're like the vampires and Wolverines of each other.
Yeah, pretty much. So, to give you some idea of how Catholic Guadalajara is, I thought this was hilarious. They had a bicycle warning system against evangelicists. So
bicycle warning?
So a guy or a couple guys would ride around their bicycles and be like, I don't know, I guess I don't know how that would work, but they would ring their bike and be like, there's evangelicists coming. Kind of that would be useful if you had Jehovah's Witnesses coming down your block. Actually, my neighbor used to do that, and unofficially, not with a bicycle, but this old, my dear, the nonna that lived across the street from me, she still lives there, wonderful lady. when we would have Jehovah's Witnesses come knocking on our door, we knew that there were Jehovah's Witnesses because we would see her brandishing her broom at them and screaming at them. So that's how we knew.
And what was the response to this generally?
Like, you know, just like quickly walking back, not quite running, because I don't know if like running is against their
Just
religion,
cursing at them
but it's
Italian.
just like they're just, yeah, exactly. So personally, I would take the Catholics over anyone.
Over anyone, eh?
No, over like religious people,
really?
not over anyone.
So the Catholics, you're okay with all the boy fucking? That's fine.
Well, no, I get. Oh my god. Okay, but well, okay. I grew up.
2,000-year-old cult.
I grew up in like a very like. Oh, I just feel like there is such a thing as being not really Catholic. Like so many people grow up not really Catholic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Whereas I've never met someone who's like not really a Jehovah's Witness. Like maybe later in their life, but like, you know?
Yeah, well, it's generational, right? Like it's like if you go to Salt Lake City, even though a lot of people where their parents are still crazy Mormons, if you talk to people our age, they're like, yeah, I'm Mormon. I drink. Fuck. My parents are crazy.
Okay,
it's
fair
the same
enough.
type of thing.
I guess, yeah. Anyway, but okay, just to add to that though, like I know people, like lots of my friends who still consider themselves Catholic, that they like going to church, they believe in God, but they're not like, they're also like, yeah, the Bible is a bunch of stories, I still believe in evolution. Like there is a middle ground to that kind of religion, whereas
sure.
like I don't see that very like.
Yeah, well,
you know?
my thing is it's more the age of religion, right? It's like if a religion's brand new, like you're like, how
That's
many
fair.
second
That's...
generation Scientologists do you know? I know one.
Yeah.
It's Beck. He's still a weird fucking guy.
Beck is a second generation Scientologist?
Yes, he was born and raised in Scientology. And he's like, because they obviously, many times he's been braced about the subject. And most of the time he's just like, yeah, it's a religion. I don't give a shit. I don't know how much he actually believes in it. But he was born and raised inside Scientology.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, well, what do you know? The more you know. The more you know. So, anyway, so Aaron had military connections in local government. Okay, so, a caveat, so it wasn't a random choice. So choosing Guadalajara was not just because, someone told him or an angel told him. So he had military connections in the local government in Guadalajara. He had roots in the region. His wife had been born in this city. And just a little bit of background on Guadalajara. After 2 decades of civil war and social reform, rural migrants had swelled Guadalajara's working classes. Aaron soon built a following among poor Guadalajarans. Oh, surprise. In part by offering social services. In 1954, he managed to secure a piece of land on the eastern outskirts of the city, which he named Hermosa Provincia, beautiful province. 10 years later, Aaron died, and Samuel, his son, took over as the church's president, father in faith and living apostle. At the time, the church was mostly local, with its tight-knit membership clustered in the province, in this land that he had, the Hermosa Provincia, and the stated goal, which remains to this day, of restoring La Iglesia Primitiva, which basically in English is restorationism. So do you know anything about restorationism?
Not really. Sounds very familiar, though.
Okay, so it's basically, I just took a lot of these definitions from Wikipedia and some Googling, but it's basically like Christian primitivism. It's the whole rationale behind Pentecostalism, which is the idea that you want to go back to what they think is the primitive church. So that's why they're very anti-Catholic, because they see the Pope and like a lot of the grand cathedrals and churches of Catholicism as being not true to how the 12 apostles would have worshipped Jesus and God and all that. So it's about like going back to a primitive model to reconstruct early Christianity. So that's why you get the fundamentalism of everything by the book, every word of the Bible.
So it's like Pope John Paul II versus the Nazi Pope, you know, the one that was like, he was like the emperor.
Oh, it was like the one that was like there for like a hot sec?
Yeah, he's one of the few that has not died while it's still in office. Call it office. He stepped down, which, oh my god.
Which clearly was like a bunch of cardinals were like, you need to get out.
I would love to have been a fly on the wall in that moment.
Yeah.
Be like, you fucked too many boys. Or maybe it wasn't enough, yeah. That was the issue. He's like,
maybe he wouldn't.
You only like normal-aged women. She was 35. What the fuck?
Yeah. So, which as a pope would still be creepy if she was 35.
Yeah, but, you know.
Vast improvement.
12-year-old boy, 35-year-old woman.
Yeah, vast improvement. So it can also mean, restorationism can also mean returning to the promised land.
Okay.
It's again a reiteration of following the 12 apostles. That's where you get this fixation on people calling themselves apostles. Like, I've made that link. I'm like, yes, I see that now.
Okay.
Some examples are the Latter-day Saints, Seventh-day Adventists, most Pentecostals, essentially. So they're all kind of the same jam.
Yeah, I was thinking this all sounded very Seventh-day Advent-y. That's what I thought this was originally when we saw it. I thought it was just a weird translation of that. But yeah, no, I really thought that it might be the Seventh-day Adventist because of, like, we live in Quebec, so everything's in French. And, like, what are Jehovah's Witnesses here? They're like...
it's like Iglesia. Yeah, it's like Iglesia something.
It's Iglesia de Testimonies or something. Like, it's spelled like TES.
Oh, it's like probably Testament. It's probably drawing from the word Testament. Yeah,
but you can see, once you see it, like, do you remember the first time I put that together at, like, the Laurier metro stop?
Yeah, there's so many here. It's so weird, because then there's that one on Saint Michel by me.
Yeah, I mean, it might just be because two of our closest transit points are literally, like, right at one. Because, like, at that... right across, like, the way from that bus stop is one of the bigger churches. It's huge. But I'll never forget the first time I got on the 51 bus, and I'm just standing across from these two, like, just Jehovah up. Like, they're wearing white polo shirts with pressed blue slacks. Yeah. They got name tags on because they're like, because everyone's like basically like a pastor, right? It's similar to Mormonism.
No, I get you. Yeah.
That, like, I'm sure there's some kind of very quick ranking, but just to be a man of age, you're automatically a pastor of the religion. And it was just these two guys on, and like they were like weird and awkward looking, and being like, okay, whatever. It's two 18-year-old Mormon guys that are young, dumb, and full of way too much cum. But then this entire, like, this whole soccer team of, like, just black guys get on and stand or sit right next to them. And they're just, like, having a good time. They just got off practice or a game. And they're loud and boisterous. And these guys, their faces immediately to me, like, I'm going to get mugged. I'm going to get murdered.
Were they white?
Yeah. They were these two very white Quebecois guys, and they were like, oh my god, all the scary black guys got on. And
that's funny.
They're just like having clearly like the most non-threatening, but you could just see like just like they kept doing these glances. They'd be like,
That's so funny to me because the
hilarious.
the Jehovah's Witness Hall by me is predominantly black people.
Yeah, well, I think it's not that many white people are really in it. Like, from what I've heard, like, I mean, I love the comedian Kurt Metzger. Whenever I've heard him talk about it, it's pretty much a Latin and...
yeah, I told you. I mean, we've talked about this, but, like, growing up, I knew one white person who was a Jehovah's Witness, but 2 or 3 others, one was Dominican, the others were, I don't know, I think African or something like that, but yeah. Yeah,
I wonder how that lines up, because I know... for a lot of these, because these are really more like doomsday culty religions than more traditional forms of Catholicism.
Absolutely.
Even Pentecostal is like definitely more in that realm. Because I know like Seventh-day Adventist is, again, it's very much like is mostly ethnic minorities.
Well, I mean, I don't know much. I don't want to like make any brash assumptions here, but clearly even the trend here where he moves to a poor city with poor Guadalajarans and bribes them with social services. And I know that Jehovah's Witnesses are like that as well, because like I've told you before, it's not someone immediately, like, I think it's my parents, maybe second cousins, like, or something like that. They don't really know. Anyway, I told you, like, one of them converted to being a Jehovah's Witness. I don't know, someone. I've literally never met this person, but my parents were telling me that, like, not only do you excommunicate from the rest of your family, but they own everything. Like, they give you a house, like, everything's in the church's name. Like, they give you everything. Mm-hmm. So you could also, like, that's a big reason why people stay in these religions, because you will lose everything.
Yeah.
If you leave.
Absolutely. Well, all of these, even if they're not, the ownership isn't possession based, which it usually is, at least you have to give a big chunk of your money.
Yeah.
Like, I think like Jehovah's, they have to give something like 10% of their income. Just
that's what I was going to say. Church. It's pretty crazy. Anyway, so... yeah. So yeah, it's pretty crazy. So over the next 50 years, Samuel, who's the son of Eusebio, for Aaron, Eusebio, whatever, So Samuel said about globalizing La Luz del Mundo, because up until that point it was purely a local Mexican thing.
Okay, that was my question, because
Yeah.
I had never heard about it, so I
Yeah.
assumed it was small or like just maybe big in Mexico.
Oh,
or
wait till you
southern
hear
there.
this, though. I mean, it makes sense why we don't see it as much here, because, I mean, yes, we do have Latin American communities like Mexicans in Montreal and in Toronto. I've never seen it in Toronto. Like, that bumper sticker, like, that was such a fluke. Like, I've never heard of this until I saw that, and I was, like, curious.
That's why I thought it was a much more minor.
But it's today LLDM has significant temples throughout Mexico and Central America, unsurprisingly, as well as Chile, Colombia, Spain, and of course the United States, particularly California. California alone has around 40 churches of the LDM. Yeah, that's a lot.
Want to go?
I kind of do.
Yeah.
I don't think we'd be allowed. Honestly,
Yeah.
though, like based on my research and the fact that like you cannot find anything.
Yeah.
Oh shoot! You know what I'm gonna pull up later? They created on the Reddit that I found of the defectors. They created as a group a map, like a map hotspot, where they anonymously put where they pin on the global map, like basically saying I left this church, right? And the idea is to make everyone feel like they're not alone. So if someone is doubting the religion and they come across it, they can see the numbers that are leaving, which I thought was really cool. So I'll show that later.
Yeah. Also, I wonder if there's, well, do you know this? If there's any kind of like, do they try to keep the name of the church when you're introduced to it? Is it separated at all from like how it, like, I don't, I'm trying to, how to say this, but like with the public facing, the negative side that we know, would they have a different name for it? Like this is a big thing in Scientology. Just an interesting aside. So
yeah, for sure.
Like I think this was a Bill Burr story, but he went to this when he moved to California early. He went to this like acting school. He was referred to this acting school, and there was like a lot of
because sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you, but I have heard. I think this is where you go. I'll let you finish, but. Scientology recruits a lot of actors through acting schools, right?
Yeah, no,
is that where you're going
exactly
with it? Okay.
It. But
I've heard
it's
about
never
that.
told to the people that they're actually amazing acting schools, apparently. Like they're really good, and that's how they sucker people in. But so he went to this acting school, and they were like they were kind of weird.
Oh, that creeped the shit out of me.
Everything just went blue.
Oh my god.
I just hadn't touched my computer.
Oh my god, I'm sorry. I am not entirely sober right now.
I was scared as my graphics card. For the viewing audience, we watch our podcast on a big projector with 3 screens in a very dark, dimly lit room. Everything just went dark because I had touched my keyboard. But,
okay, yeah, sorry.
But yeah, so they're really good acting schools, and he was telling his friend, like, yeah, they were really good, but they were kind of weird, and they were kind of, like, forceful about, like, come back, you should really come back the next time. And his friend was like, dude, that's not a regular acting class, that's Scientology. Like, that dude's a Scientologist recruiter, and that's a famous acting school. They never bring up the term Scientology until you're deeply into it.
Yeah, I mean...
And then I think it's like, not even then, it's just like, hey, you should come to this church with me. I found it very useful. So you would start out as an acting school. That's a totally affront as a recruitment tool.
I don't think it's like that level.
Yeah,
at
I mean,
all.
Scientology's level of like organization.
No. Like I don't think it's like that. Yeah, and like then they have the whole like mental health things that you do, and it's like, oh, you have depression, like we'll cure you of your depression.
Yeah.
Like we don't. It's not like that. But yeah, so they have 40 churches in California, and there are major congregations in Houston, Atlanta, and New York City as well. Clearly, they also must have some kind of connection in Canada as well, because we saw that bumper sticker.
Yeah, there's got to be. At least
so
one.
There has to be. Along the way, LLDM has been able to take advantage of a broader growth in Latin American Protestantism, which we've talked about, a trend that has tended to favor Pentecostal movements, which, yeah. So we are unable, this is like my own writing, but like we're unable to tell the exact numbers of the LLDM members, both in Mexico and around the world. Most of this religion is really shrouded in mystery, like I've said a lot, with most people speaking about it once they've left anecdotally. So there's not really like, no one external to this group has been able to do research on it.
Yeah.
And most are written in Spanish, like I said. And there is a book, which I will write it for anyone who is a Spanish listener. And eventually my Spanish will get good enough that I will be able to read it. According to the research I've done and a lot of like what people say, La Luz del Mundo's closest relative is probably the Mormon Church, unsurprisingly.
Yeah.
A lot of them also post in ExMormon, which is a Reddit thread that I found.
Yeah.
So the LLDM hierarchies offer few roles for women. So now we're getting into the what do they believe in?
Yeah.
So women sit separately from men during services. Yeah.
Okay, that's...
And actually, if you look up, I'm not sure if you can find any pictures of them praying, but it almost kind of looks like, it's not like anything I've ever seen. It kind of looks like extreme Islam. That's not a dig to Islam by any means. I'm not saying that they're a cult or anything, but the women are all wearing head coverings and they're all sitting separate from men. So I thought that was, it's pretty.
Wow, they have full attire.
Yeah, it's pretty. If you go back, there's actually, most of them wear white. The second one up there.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, whoa.
Yeah, and I think that's...
Question, are the children allowed in? Like, where are the kids?
Yeah, well, I'll get to that. Yeah.
Do you have another... They left Catholicism to only found a religion that doesn't only take boys. Is that
also, caveat, this will probably be a two-parter, because I actually had to stop watching the Brian Ross Investigates interview. Yeah. Half because he's unbearable. It's like...
Yeah, that sounds like some local, like, I'm from NBC, but I'm from,
it was like, it's like the old, like, 90s kind of, like, Dateline or whatever, Dateline.
Tonight with Connie Chung.
Yeah, exactly, something like that. And then also because the women they were interviewing, I had to, like, I couldn't listen to all of it.
They're
but
hardcore victims.
And then the comments on the YouTube, which we can also get to, are clearly...
LLDM members.
Oh yeah, they're just ripping her apart, and it's awful. It's awful.
We've uncovered a legit, like...
Yeah, it's a legit fuck up thing. Yeah, so... And then I was talking to, like, a bunch of people. Sorry, this is my own aside, but, like, I was trying to figure out... None of my friends who are super into true crime and, like, stuff like that had heard of them. Like, nobody knows about this. Not to toot my own horn, but, like, literally no one knows about this. So...
Well, I mean, not that I'm, like... The only true crime podcast that I really listen to is Last Pod Guys. Mm-hmm. And those guys are like, they know every story. And even though they haven't done every story on their podcast, they'll often reference other churches. So, like, you'll be listening to just, like, the Children of God episode, but then they'll talk about, at least briefly, and I've never heard LLDM come up on that.
Yeah, I think it's because... I'll get to this. Yeah. And I'll definitely get to it in depth next podcast that we record, which is probably next week. It's really new. Like, the guy was arrested, I think, December 2019. Whoa. Like, it was very recent, so I think it's just starting. But it's weird that, like, I'm finding only even the news that I find is very sparse. Like, it didn't, like, explode, which is very strange. Anyways, so here are some of their beliefs, which this is sourced from a Reddit thread on ExMormon, which was then archived and annexed to the new thread that I won't mention, just because... Based on what I've seen and the comments on the video, I am kind of scared for people who might be defectors, so I don't want to, like, expose anyone. But women and girls should wear skirts to their ankles and cover up their heads while in church, as you can see. Okay. Women should wear these ankle-length skirts everywhere, otherwise they're not being, quote-unquote, honest women. I mean, this is really most religion anyway. Men and women should sit on separate sides of church. I said that. This is just how things should be. Men are fundamentally different from women in every way. Women should be submissive. Both sexes are pressured into marriage as soon as possible.
Okay, yeah.
You can only date... This was my favorite. You can only date someone for 3 months, but no hand-holding, kissing, or going on dates without being chaperoned by an adult LLDM member. If, at the end of the 3 months, you two aren't going to be married, you need to break up or suffer consequences. Those are not explained. I don't even want to know what those are. You can't go to watch movies in a theater. It's a sin. You can't dance. It's a sin. You can't celebrate Dia de los Muertos, no matter...
Oh, man, that sucks.
No matter how important it is to your culture as a Mexican, because the beliefs of our ancestors are pagan and demonic. This is a sin. I also wonder if you have to be... Well, I guess you don't have to be Mexican because they're in Chile, Colombia, and Spain, but I wonder if it's a strictly, like...
You have to be of, like, the
Latin American.
Yeah, we were joking. I mean, it's probably a more sinister reason why Jehovah's and these target, like, specific ethnic minorities that are... But, my joke was that, like, it's like maybe certain religions, like, we will only take the white people, or we will only take that. Like, Mormons are definitely, like, I think the closest to that, because they... You know how they view that, like... Native Indigenous Americans were white people that back in the day they were white people, and then they
because of their sins,
and then they were sinned. It's like,
oh
yeah,
my god,
exactly.
I knew
It's
this
like
is where
the
I was
Cain
going.
Abel stuff, right?
Fuck me.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, that's
oh
why.
god. Okay. Well, and this one comes as such a surprise. Obviously, the LGBTQ community is horrible, and there's no such thing as a gay LLDM member.
I mean, that's
standard.
Any Christian,
literally
basically.
Standard. Anyone.
Yeah. Every religion.
Any Abrahamic. Well, yeah. Anyway, so outside. Oh, this is obviously, outsiders are evil. Don't date or marry an outsider, or you will face consequences. If you have children with an outsider, the church isn't allowed to pray for them, and they are not allowed to participate in presentation ceremonies. I don't really know what that is. As newborn babies, your family is in the wrong if they accept your life decisions with who you want to love and marry.
I know what presentation ceremonies are. I think it's like baptisms and stuff.
Yeah,
because they said you said
so.
it was around, but for newborns, right?
It doesn't say. It says your children are not allowed to participate in presentation ceremonies as newborn babies. It doesn't sound like it's
as newborn babies, but like baptism is a presentation ceremony, right? Where like the baby is the focus of the baptism, right?
Yeah, but it doesn't. It sounds like they have presentation ceremonies and your kid's not allowed there. You're not allowed there. That's the way I'm reading it, but I don't know.
Yeah, that could be true.
So now we get into the fast forwarding. I'm sorry it took so long to get here, but the church has been brought to light because in 2019, women, particularly one woman, and I'm okay to name her because she's in an interview, is Xochitl Martin, has come forward about the rampant, disgusting sex abuse happening in the church. There is one English video that I found. It's an interview with Xochitl from this past January. She details the horrific sexual exploitation that she went through, as well as her mother went through it, and many other women and young girls. When she was 9, she was taken and introduced to be with Samuel, who's the leader.
Okay.
And so basically the way she describes it is like, so when she was 9, her mom took her to Samuel, and they kind of frame it as like, I mean, doesn't come as a surprise, but it's very much framed as like, you're the chosen one, you're super special. Of all the girls in the church, he wants to be with you.
Oh Jesus. 9. Oof.
Yeah. And
but again, that's a very common, like,
I know.
Religions.
What's not common, though, at least I didn't think was common, is it's boys and girls.
Yeah, that is a bit unique because I mean the Catholics go for the boys, but it's like, I guess it's not so much common in the more organized religions. Like they don't tend to have this, but like that's a very cult mentality thing, right? It's you would have. I'm trying to come up with specific references, but it's very common for a cult leader to be like, I'm going to curate those specific people. It's not always children, but like there's usually at least some point where like I'm going to bring those up and they will be my exalted ones. But you were strong with our faith or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. So, he raped her, molested her repeatedly, and it would like even happen like in the church, I think, like from what I understood. Yeah, like he would like rope her and stuff.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Her mom would take her to him, like I said, but her mom would like, I think this is so like in the interview she describes this, and the guy who's, I mean, obviously not a great interviewer, but like he's like, why do you think your mom did this? And she's like looking at him and she's like, well, like she also went through this. Like I think she's like a 3rd generation church member or something.
Yeah, it's old enough.
So yeah, like I remember this correctly. Her grandparents were like all the way with, I think, Aaron even, or like it's like from the founding thing, right?
Yeah.
And
so how many generations? So we have Aaron was the founder, and then it's his son is
Samuel, and now we're gonna get into Nassim, which is the son of Samuel, which I think is who's being arrested because Samuel is dead.
Yeah.
So Samuel's dead, Aaron is dead, and Nassim, I think I'm pronouncing it right, is the son of Samuel, and he's the one who's in prison right now. So her mom would take her to him, and she would chat with him before, she would chat with him after. And girls, if you can go to the video that I sent you and start it at 5:06. Mm-hmm. That's fine. And you can see them praying here.
Are considered special, encouraged even by their own mothers to serve him. You think that you're chosen, and you're taught that you're lucky. You're lucky to be there, and that you're the rest of the girls that you're around. Wow, out of all of these girls in the church, thousands and thousands of members of the church in this congregation, out of all of them, I'm chosen. When you're taken to a private room or to one of his private homes or his private properties, and you're forced to take your clothes off for them and touch them and seduce them in a way that an older woman would.
Your mother was actually encouraging you to do this?
She took me.
It's so bad.
I'm just laughing at the guy.
I know.
I'm obviously not laughing at this.
This is not a unique joke. This is a John Oliver joke, but he'll have these reoccurring bits when it's like, when NBC's Dateline wants to get the soundbite that they're going for, they just parrot whatever it is.
Yeah.
So that's when he killed you? That's when he killed me, Bob.
She would buy things for me, and she would take me physically, and
Knowing what was going on.
yes, and she would speak to him before and after.
Why would she do that?
It's just sound bites.
She thought it was okay. She herself, she was young, she was with him. She was one of his concubines. So I'm guessing that she thought that it was okay to do it.
Later, as a high school student in Los Angeles, attending John Marshall High School, Xochitl says she was then seduced and molested by Nessun Garcia, who was married at the time, but not yet crowned the apostle.
He would caress my buttocks and my waist and the sides of my breasts. So in my head, again, I still try to believe that it wasn't that bad, but it's bad. And I guess if you want to call it that, it is. He molested me at age 16. And I didn't see it that way.
So Schill says when Nason took over running the church following the death of his father, the relationship grew more extensive and weirder, including recording.
It's just so bad. Like, she clearly didn't even want to say that. And he just kept probing her with these sound bites until she said the word that he wanted. Like, the interview style of these people is so disgusting, especially when it's like people that have gone through real shit. Like, when it's just like, oh my god, it's plastic bottles or whatever, and you just want people to say, so the oceans are filled with plastic. The oceans are filled with plastic. It's like, okay, you are clearly a trash interviewer that's told to get said sound bites, but continue on, or are we good
we
for
can
this?
continue for a bit.
Yeah.
During sexual affairs and the
Groups of women.
group sex, and he would record with phones and iPads and tablets, and he had his computer. He would download all of it, and he would keep that with him.
In fact, the California prosecutors have said.
All right, I think that's enough.
Yeah.
But yeah, just like, again, like, it's just so, oh my god, it's such trashy journalist work.
Yeah, and this is the only thing I found. I will try next week to go through the Spanish interviews, because there are some Spanish videos, and see if they're any better.
It's a shame that there isn't a translation of that book, because I bet it's like a gold mine. Like, that's the crazy thing about Mormonism, is there are like two huge books that were written by ex-members, and like one guy was still in the church when he published his book, and then it was excommunicated immediately. But I think it's called Not My Country or something, and it goes into like insane detail and end to end. But this is smaller than
it's
Mormonism.
much smaller, and I think, I don't know. But I've been thinking about getting the Spanish book, because at least a book, I can use some Google. I can try and translate what's in it.
Try and get an ebook. That's my suggestion.
They don't have one.
Okay.
There's no ebook. I went on. It's literally only a print copy.
Okay, yeah.
Because then it would be easier.
Yeah, because most PDFs you can copy off, and then you could do nice translations, and it'd be broken, but it would work. Yeah, I'm super curious to see how, like, because it really, that's...
Anyway, that's what I've had so far. I know it's not a lot, but it's just, this is all I found.
Yeah.
And I'm going to try and do some research on how he got to prison and like where things are at in the trial now for next week. But it's really hard. I think she's brave to be the face of it.
Yeah. Yeah, he's probably much more dominant.
And I think the problem is what's scary is like he clearly he's ex-military. Well, at least the family has ex-military connections, has government connections in Mexico. So it
sounds like he has cartel connections. Is what
I didn't want to say that because I don't know, but it's likely.
But yeah, I mean, it is Mexico, and like the cartel is the government in so many areas.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like I feel like if you had government members who are part of this church, and they wanted to shut someone up, they could.
Yeah,
well, absolutely.
I've told you it's like the second or third most dangerous country in the world for journalists.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Next to like Iraq and I think like Iran. So it's just like people, do you want someone dead? It's not that hard.
Yeah, so I think that anyway. But if you wanna, I'll show you. Go look at some of the comments on this video.
I will do screen caps for any YouTube viewers.
Like, can you get her to do a lie detector? So she'll do not. Oh well, that's good. I didn't see that one before.
Sorry, which one?
Someone telling her not to give up. But it's been how many years, and all of a sudden you want to come out and say these allegations?
Yeah.
Yeah. So some, but some not that great.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's going to be a mixed bag, but you're not going to have...
This says something like...
Let's find it.
It says you have big... Xochitl, which is her name, you have big ovaries.
Big balls, maybe?
Yeah, I think they're trying to say you have big balls to try and do this, which is scary. Like, that's concerning.
Yeah, it's also the emojis afterwards make it a little bit more... It's kind of ominous. The laughing, crying. Like, oh.
I mean, you can double check it, but I'm pretty sure that's what it says.
Let's find out what this more accurately translates to.
I'm pretty sure I got it spot on.
No, for sure. But like, I totally believe...
Oh yeah, they're basically saying like
as the largest ovaries,
you have bigger balls.
That is such a threat. That is such a threatening. You have bigger balls.
Saying
I think this is a threat against this person, mostly because of the emojis afterwards. Like, why would you be like the emojis after are the crying while laughing emoji? Yeah.
Yeah, but can you look at the comments?
Okay, let's look at the number one.
Yeah, no, I think you're right because the comment. I wanted to like get a sense of what the comments are like. Yeah.
Yeah. So they're clearly
you're right.
Some of the Spanish ones are just straight up threatening her. Like the large ovaries is definitely like. Well, isn't like cajones would be nuts, right?
Yeah. So that's what. No, ovarios. I was like, that's ovaries. Like I guess, but I guess it sounds weird because we don't have that phrase in English. But I get what they're saying. They're just.
Yeah, but cajones is definitely the one-to-one, and I only know that from the TV movies that I watch.
Yeah, no, for sure. For our listeners, during this quarantine, I've been teaching myself Spanish, and I have to say it's gotten pretty good.
Yeah, well, you're able to read some. That is not a ovarios. Yeah. Yeah, so clearly they have people that they're being definitely instructed by higher ups or are part of the religion to just.
Well, yeah, I mean.
No doubt.
Yeah.
Like, it's YouTube. They're going to be a minority of people, and it's somewhat prevalent. Like, there are more than a few. They're not making up a small minority of the comments.
If you scroll down, it says, Yo soy Nason Joaquin Garcia. He's honorable and innocent. God will give testimony. Yeah. Yo soy Nason Joaquin Garcia is a song. Okay. And it's literally weird, like, because that translates to I am Nason.
Yeah,
so,
I was going to say yo soy.
Yeah, so, like, yeah, the music is really weird. Like, look at this. How much did you get paid for this interview?
Yeah.
This is fake news. Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah, fake news.
Yeah, so crazy. So, yeah, LLDM, a Spanish doomsday-ish cult. It would be really interesting to see, like, I know the information on them is limited, but to get into some of their, if they have any, I know you said they're largely based on restoration, bringing the church back to a much more simple form, but any more, if they have any specific beliefs. That's what I
read you some of them, though.
Yeah, but I'm just wondering if there's, like, any, but they all sounded quite standardized for Christian.
Well, I think it's because it's the standard. Like, I don't even think, like I was saying, they sing songs and they cry. Like, it's just a cult. Like, it's not even about the Bible. He's the apostle.
Yeah.
And whoever is the apostle is, like, cried upon. Like, you see all the women crying, singing, killing themselves for him. It's just about whoever the apostle is, whether it's Nason, Samuel, or whatever. They're just, like, dying for them. I'm sure if you Google, like, LLDM, actually write La Luz in the search in YouTube. Holy shit. The case was dropped?
Oh. Yo, breaking news from the CoronaCast. More disorders been brought in. So we've just discovered some new. Yeah, his case was dropped. Where are you seeing that?
Second link.
Okay, yeah. So, this is in America too.
Well, like Mexico's ever going to prosecute.
Well, I mean, my assumption.
Well, it's because
was that
she went to school in California. So if she brought charges and she's based in California, it's going to be. So, this is such a clickbait article because, as you can see, it literally says. So it's the appeals court determined on Tuesday that Mr. Garcia should have been given a hearing within 10 days, which he didn't. So they're going to throw it out. But the ruling is not considered final for another 30 days, and prosecutors are reviewing the decision. And this was April 8th. And I haven't seen an update. Like, I guess it's May 8th now. Oh, today's May 8th. So it'd literally be 30 days. So, yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So, yeah, he may be getting the charges dropped. That's pretty crazy. Yeah, so this is very breaking.
Yep, very breaking.
We're the first to scoop a true crime story. Maybe we'll get more. That's insane. That is really crazy. Yeah, I mean, they're garbs. I mean, I know, there probably aren't any juicy bits of, like, they probably don't have their own Lord Xenu or their own golden plates or some, but, the garbs alone, like, this clothing is, well, not the babies.
I mean, I'm going to try and do my research, but we'll see. So stay tuned. This has been a long one.
Yeah,
but
we may do future updates because this is
definitely
a 3-4-parter just over the course of a few months.
So I don't know. Do you want to wrap us off with something like less depressing?
A little bit, yeah. We'll try to end on.
Because I don't know if I want to end on a. And then she was molested, and the charges might be dropped. No, so
yeah, maybe what has happened, but it hasn't been great. There's been oh my god, so many just random, crazy.
Can we end on some like cute puppies?
Cute puppies, no. Well, we're not John Oliver.
Aww.
We need to...
But I love cute puppies.
Well, I know you like cute puppies. I'll show Norbert for you for a second so you can enjoy Norbert.
Aw, thank you.
Norbert the dog.
Aw,
there he is.
Thanks. That was
cool.
a palate cleanser.
There you go. So there's that. Let me find something funny.
Okay,
so this goes out to all the single ladies. All the single ladies. Have you ever wondered what types of women men want? Well, I've got a YouTuber that's more than willing to tell you.
Not this lady. Fuck.
If you're wondering, that is all plastic surgery. She has videos about her plastic surgery, about her nose job.
No one's wondering. Literally no one is wondering. No, they're not because... Woo!
Yeah, so this is... Yeah. So, are you familiar with the term finishing school?
Yes, of course I am.
So she has brought back the term finishing school into the 21st century. This is no longer a relic of the 1817, 1900s.
I hate this.
This is a Swedish woman.
Oh, I thought she was American.
Yeah, well, so many Swedish people have like flawless accents. You can't tell the difference. Like,
okay, yeah.
You walk around Stockholm. Yeah, but it's just she has this massive YouTube video where she has an online finishing school where she tries to teach women how to be prim and proper, and she has videos that are like I think it's like what types of things an elegant woman would never do at home. It's literally... Okay,
can I see? I want to see. What am I doing
I'm
wrong?
pretty sure that you are doing at least 1 or 2 things from this list when you are at home, because nobody really follows etiquette at home.
No, but it's not specifically
Find out in this video.
Swedish.
My dear elegant ladies, welcome back.
That's how she introduces every video.
To another video. Ladies, the reason why I do a video where we talk about how you behave at home, etiquette at home. Remember that I've spoken in the past that forget etiquette if you are at home. At this stage, it doesn't matter because etiquette is something
Can you skip? I just want to get to the parts.
Respect thing though. Yeah. What about...
Oh, they're pretty minor things, so it's mostly video demonstration, so you can't suck out a water bottle.
Or are you doing this?
You get a glass.
Oh,
if you want hydration, you get a glass of water, and then you turn it to the side.
2 different things, right? Now, why
you shouldn't be drinking from plastic bottles, period.
You know what? I don't really care. It's about for yourself. Do you want to drink like a man, like a slob? Or do you want to be a little bit more refined and actually start practicing your elegant manners? Even those small little details like how you drink your water by yourself at home when nobody sees you.
You know what this reminds me of? Can you pause this? This is what I truly want to end on. This is what I truly want to end on because this is what it reminds me of. Search Amanda Bynes.
Okay.
Chew like you have a secret.
Amanda and Chew. Was this a song of hers?
No. It's from one of my favorite movies, She's the Man.
Is that with Channing Tatum?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's it. I think this is a clip.
This one?
Yeah. See, this is what I mean about how she actually had talent. Like, I think she's hilarious.
Make sure she's in the back for the group photo.
Thank you for joining us, Viola. Now, who's ready to come out?
I want to watch this now.
Viola, darling, remember, chew like you have a secret.
She's chewing like she's got a secret. That's for damn sure.
That's what that reminds me of.
Oh my god. Yeah, so shout out to the finishing school, the School of Affluence.
Well, I think that's it for now.
Yeah, that concludes episode 2.3.85 of the Corona Cast, Disorderly Conduct, featuring Nathan and...
Oh yeah, we didn't even introduce ourselves today. Fuck.
Yeah, but it's times, sometimes you just gotta start at the end.
I'm not even gonna say my name. I'm scared of the LLDM now.
Okay, well that's how your way of starting at the end to begin at the arriving.
Well, anyways, thanks for tuning in, all our friends, because I know it's all our friends.
And
peace out.
Yeah, later.